For today's episode, I want to do a little behind the scenes with you. So, if you're on my email list, you know that earlier today I sent out an email about copy legends, specifically about the legendary ads vault, the 101 greatest ads from some of the world's greatest copywriters, advertisers, and marketers. And by the way, if you didn't get that email and you'd like to check it out, there's a link in the description with this episode, and you'll have even more bonuses that you can get if you pay attention to the end of this episode and learn about the one more step you can take to get those additional bonuses. Again, I'll describe that at the end of the episode. But anyway, Matt from Copy Legends, he reached out to me, and him reaching out to me is the reason for me sending that email. It's a joint venture marketing deal, right? And so he reached out to me, not specifically saying, hey, let's do a joint venture, but hey, let's get to know each other. Like, I'm in this business, you're in this business, whatever. And because he has a developing reputation, I thought, yeah, let's do it. We got on Zoom, we had a quick conversation, quick intro. And by the end of the call, we said, yeah, we could do some cross promotion stuff. We could provide value to each other's audiences, and that would be great. So we decided on a JV deal, and it was absolutely a no-brainer. And so that has me thinking about joint venture deals, not just like, oh, the vague benefits of them, but specifically, if you want to do joint venture deals, if you want to grow your business through doing joint ventures, like, this is how you do it. This is a great model for it. And so I want to share a little bit about that, and hopefully share quite a few lessons for you in that, quite a few breakthroughs. So that's what we'll cover in today's episode. These are the proven direct response marketing, copywriting, and entrepreneurship success strategies you can use today to write your own ticket and create the life you want. I am Roy Furr, and this is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Now, here's today's breakthrough. So, why the heck would you do joint ventures? What are they? Basically, a joint venture is any time that two or more companies come together and do something together, right? Like, anytime two or more companies agree to do something together for mutual benefit, that's a joint venture. And sometimes it's kind of one way, like it's one person providing some resource to the other in exchange for compensation. Sometimes it's two-way, it's a trade, whatever it is. They can be hugely valuable. Now, whenever I think of joint ventures, I especially think of Jay Abraham, who, he's one of my marketing heroes. He was one of the titans at he was one of the titans at Brian Kurtz's Titans of Direct Response event, which I wrote the sales letter for. I got to meet him there. I've met him a couple times. And Jay specifically has taught joint ventures a lot, and I learned a lot about joint ventures from him. And specifically, he has tracked billions of dollars in revenue for himself and for clients from doing various joint venture arrangements. And billions of dollars in revenue should be enough, I suppose, to tell you why joint ventures. But more specifically, a good joint venture deal, even if you're brand new to a market, can give you fast access to a market. The reason that this works is because you're leveraging somebody else's audience. Like, you've probably heard about other people's money, like investing other people's money. Well, other people's audience, other people's resources of any kind, but other people's audience for a marketing joint venture deal is huge. Because if you have no audience, but somebody else has, 1,000 names, 10,000 names, 100,000 names in their audience, like buyers or prospects or whatever, and they are willing to put whatever you're doing in front of their audience, like, that's super fast access to a market that is not easily replicated elsewhere. The other thing that comes from doing something like that is you get, if you are doing it as a true joint venture where both people are on board with each other, where there's trust between each other, well, what can happen is when this other person puts you in front of their audience and says, hey, you should go check this person out, that type of quality endorsement has super high conversion rate, customer value. Like, your conversions tend to be higher, the amount of money that people spend tends to be higher, like the engagement, the quality of customers tends to be better. Like, all of that is improved by doing some kind of joint venture. And another little way to look at this is something that I learned from Dan Kennedy called the with strategy, which is basically whoever people see you with is it conveys the reputation of that other person on you. So, for example, like when I interviewed a bunch of people who I consider to be great marketers, great copywriters, and I shared those interviews with people, like I get their reputation, right? I get lumped into being a great copywriter or marketer because I'm with those people. This is why people like pay celebrities to do keynotes at their conventions and things like that, because who you're with is who you are. And when somebody is endorsing you, when there's a back and forth there, people automatically take any. So if Guru A endorses Guru B and I'm a follower of Guru A, all the trust that I have in Guru A is conveyed to Guru B until Guru B is able to establish their own reputation and relationship with me. And so there's this conveyance of trust that goes from person to person in a joint venture endorsement that if you want to get the trust of your marketplace quickly, a joint venture can be an excellent way to do that. So it can be a quick way to grow in any market. And I think of this like even when you think about, oh, but I'm competing with these businesses, right? These people are offering similar products to me. I think of Brian Kurtz's concept of co-opetition, which is like it's competition, right? Like conceivably we should be competitors because we're in the same space, we're selling to the same people, we have similar products. But by working together, oftentimes what happens is we actually we grow the pie. We don't just take other slices of, or other people's slices of the pie. A good example of this is in the direct mail business in the United States. There was like early on as direct mail was growing and becoming this big established thing. This was like through the 40s, 50s, 60s. The United States adopted all sorts of policies in a marketplace in the direct mail business for list rental. So one business could rent the list of another and they could mail to that. Whereas in Europe, with tighter privacy laws, there was much less list rental that went on. And what actually happened is in the United States, the direct mail business and the direct marketing business grew much, much faster, and the total business grew much faster than it did in Europe, where there was less cooperation between people who were conceivably competitors. And so joint ventures just have all sorts of benefits. Specific to my experience with Copy Legends, what I wanted to talk about was like why this represented such a great joint venture experience. And granted, I just sent my first email today, so I want to make sure that everybody gets treated well and all of that. But at the same time, I have a lot of confidence in it, and I was so excited to get on board just because this was so well run, and it's such a great example of how you do a joint venture marketing deal, right? So number one, Matt was super well organized. He was like, he's been doing this, and he has grown his list quickly through joint venture arrangements, right? Through joint venture promotions, and he has a system. He has a process in place. I don't want to tell his whole system, but as soon as we started talking about it, and as soon as we started, deciding that, okay, we're going to do this, he said, well, here's what I propose. And basically we did a simple trade of email promotions. I wrote about him to my list. He writes about me to his list. And part of the reason that this was such a no-brainer is he already had a specific plan in place for doing this, right? And he had a specific plan for his promo of me to promote me in the best possible way, to get people engaged on my list in the best possible way. And then he also presented to me a plan of how he'd serve my audience. When I send people to his stuff to go download that legendary ads vault, the 101 greatest ads, he explained to me how he would treat people well, how he'd over deliver, how he'd give people so much. And he also gave me great suggestions for how I can promote him, down to like, hey, you could throw this in the PS to encourage people. Like, he helped me succeed by taking most of the work off of my plate. Now, I still had to write that actual email, but he did so much of the work that just made it so easy to say yes to. And this represents like a great case study in how to win at joint venture marketing. Specifically, there are three big things that I want to point out. The first is that he made it feel fair. He made it feel like a very fair exchange of, you do this, I do this, etc. Like he worked hard to make this so it didn't feel like he was taking advantage of me, doesn't feel like I'm taking advantage of him. And basically he created a win-win-win scenario because our audiences win by learning about each other. He wins by getting some of my audience who is the best fit for him to start following his work. I win by getting some of his audience who's the best fit for me to start following my work, right? It feels fair across the board. The next thing, point number 2 on how to win at joint venture marketing is that you, as the person who's proposing the deal, and especially if you are maybe newer in the market or you are coming from a position where you have a little less power in the relationship, and that can be for all sorts of reasons. You could be the smaller business, whatever. You need to do most of the work. You need to do everything you can to deliver it on a silver platter. So, for example, some of the joint ventures that I've been involved with where I'm not necessarily making these deals, but it's, like when I have a funnel and it's being put out to a network of affiliates, it doesn't roll out to the network of affiliates until we have fully created the funnel. We've created the emails to drive traffic into it and everything. And we've tested it to our internal list, which is fairly representative of the buyers in the marketplace. And we have established stats that actually hit certain performance benchmarks. And then and only then, we start reaching out to partners and say, hey, if you're interested in promoting this, like, go ahead. This is what it is. And there are also payments that make that feel fair. There are affiliate commissions, right, that make that feel fair. But the whole thing is like by the time it's being rolled out to the joint venture partners, to the affiliates, which affiliate marketing is a type of joint venture, right? But by the time it's being rolled out to the affiliates, those funnels have established metrics that are likely to continue being fairly accurate or fairly representative of the results that the joint venture partners are going to get. And so all this work has been done for them up to the point where it's pretty certain they're going to get a good result. And then the number 3 thing for how to win at joint venture marketing. So we had, the deal has to feel fair. You should do most of the work, especially if you are proposing the deal or you are coming to it from a lower power situation. But then number 3 is follow the golden rule for their customers. Now, my own wording for the golden rule is that I want to treat others the best way that I want to be treated. And so when people come to me as part of a joint venture arrangement, I want to make sure that those people, get everything they were promised and then some. I want to make sure that they have a happy experience. I want to make sure that they feel like they're treated well. And I don't want to do any kind of joint venture arrangement where I feel like the person on the other side of it is going to abuse any kind of trust that you may have with me, where I'm pointing you towards them and their resources. Now, is it possible for someone to slip through? Yeah, maybe. But there are certain safeguards in place, and I exercise a lot of discretion in who I would even consider this with in the first place, because I want to know that when I send people to somebody else, that they're going to get a great experience, and it's only going to reflect positively on me because I made that connection. Now, if we have reached that point in the episode where I'll tell you more about the legendary ads vault. Again, basically, this is 101 ads that Matt from Copy Legends collected from some of the greatest copywriters of all time. There's a link in the description where you can go and just enter your email address and download it right away. And for my subscribers who subscribe to Matt's list and reply to his welcome email saying that I sent you, so you subscribe, you get a welcome email, and reply to that welcome email saying, hey, Roy Furr, the guy who sent me, Breakthrough Marketing Secrets, whatever. He will also send you 3 more things: 100 tips for better sales letters, how to start a letter, 122 examples, and how to close a letter, 91 examples. Now, I am like, I've talked about swipe files, right? And I've talked about specifically how I don't swipe the specific wording from people, but instead I want to look at like what is going on beneath the surface of this. So, how to start a letter, what's going on beneath the surface of how these people are starting sales letters, how to close a letter, what's going on beneath the surface of how they're closing sales letters, 101 greatest ads, what are the ideas behind the ideas? Like, what is the deep psychology that's going on here? And so, like, even though I often am kind of anti-swipe file, having a resource like this that you can scan through is incredibly valuable if you put just a little bit of thought and effort into, okay, what can I actually learn from this? Not how can I steal words from this to like do my own copywriting, but what can I learn from this, and what principles can I pick up that I can then apply as a copywriter? And Matt went to great lengths to collect all sorts of advertisements from all sorts of great copywriters and stick them in the Copy Legends resources that he offers. and so, hey, if you use swipe files at all, you definitely don't want to miss this. And again, the link is in the description. And if you do subscribe to his list and reply to his welcome email saying, hey, Roy Furr sent me, then you'll also get 100 tips for better sales letters, how to start a letter, 122 examples, and how to close a letter, 91 examples. And, he's just trying to over deliver here. Now, let me know, like, have you done joint venture deals? Are you into joint venture deals? Did you feel like you got a lot of value about how to do a joint venture marketing deal here in this episode? Leave a comment with this episode. Let me know on a scale of 1 to 10 how valuable you found it and why, as well as your action items, takeaways, insights, perspectives, any conversation, anything you want to add to the conversation. Also, tap that like button before you go so you get more content like this delivered to you. And so the magical algorithms of the internet will share it with more people like you who will find it valuable. You can certainly share it with folks directly on social media or wherever, right? And certainly subscribe. You can subscribe here. You can also go to breakthroughmarketingsecrets.com to get my daily emails Monday through Friday, including episode notifications and more exclusive content for email subscribers. I'm Roy Furr. This is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. I think sometimes some of the best lessons are in the trenches or behind the curtains lessons. And I hope that I've delivered one of those for you here today. I always aim for 10 out of 10 value. I hope that's what you've got. And I look forward to catching you again in the next episode. Thank you once again for tuning in to this daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Remember, check out the links with this episode for even more value. Now make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and engage in every way you can to keep this show going and growing and delivering daily value to you. I'll catch you soon for your next big breakthrough.